you can hear from so many alumni that have said like the program truly changed their life, their perspective on Clark County, um, their vision going forward.
Welcome, everyone, to the Basecamp podcast, a free educational podcast powered by Pacific Northwest Fundraising. I'm your host, Ryan Philbrook. Now, for those of you tuning in for the first time, the Basecamp podcast is for and about nonprofits, and we want to give everyone listening information about the nonprofits that are doing good in our community and that could help you or someone you know. We also want to give other nonprofits helpful and actionable information, and information on resources that can help them thrive. Now, our guest today is Tina Krause, Executive Director of Leadership Clark County. Tina, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Oh, hi, Ryan. Glad to be here today.
Oh, good. I'm glad to have you here today. Tina, I like to start with a game that I love to play, but that most people I know hate. In 7 words or less, what is the most important thing for people to know about Leadership Clark County? And I'll be counting.
7 words or less. Okay. And I've already just said over 7 words right there.
Oh,
Oh
I
my
haven't started yet. Don't worry.
Oh goodness. I'm going to go over the 7 words. I'm going to try not to though. Um, we help develop effective leaders to serve the community.
Ooh, that was 9. That was real close. I like that. We help develop
Close.
effective leaders to serve Clark County.
Yes.
I like that.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, with that in mind, we're going to kind of use that to drive our interview today. Introduce yourself a little bit. What's your name? Where do you work? Real water cooler talk here.
Yeah. So, yes, I am Tina Krause. I am born and raised in Clark County. I grew up in
Oh,
Ridgefield, have lived here my entire life. My parents grew up in Ridgefield, went to Ridgefield schools. My husband and his family, our entire families are here. So Clark County is like truly my home. I After I went, of course, to Ridgefield High School, go Spuds. I started working for First Independent Bank. They're no longer around, but they were truly this amazing community-minded institution that just loved giving back to the community. And that is where my passion for community really started. I worked my way up in the bank, and they used to send somebody through the Leadership Clark County program every single year. It was just kind of a given for them.
oh,
And so eventually it was my turn to go. I went through, that was back in 2012, and it just truly was a life-changing experience. It was one of those, like I said, I'd lived here my entire life, but all of the things that I learned about our community going through that program that year was just so eye-opening. It kind of really changed my trajectory going forward. And I ended up becoming a stay-at-home mom for the next 10 years and a full-time volunteer. I probably
oh my
volunteered more
gosh.
than like 30, 40 hours a week with different organizations. I served on several different boards at the time. Of course, Leadership Clark County being my passion, I joined their curriculum committee, and that's the committee that basically oversees all the sessions. And I chaired that committee for the next 10 years. I served on their board. Just all of the things. And I absolutely love that time period. And then finally, the timing was right in my life personally that, and the job came open for the executive director, and that was 2 years ago. So I jumped on that opportunity and have been the executive director for the last 2 years.
So
Oh,
you've
yeah.
you've
Yeah.
essentially had 3. You're on your 3rd career right now, which is 3rd
Yes.
time's the charm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it
And
is
I
truly my passion. It's like, yeah, everything I could dream of in a job for me. So it doesn't even feel like a job. It's yeah.
I'm so glad you said that because I was going to hedge my statement of 3rd time's the charm going, not that you weren't passionate about being a stay-at-home mom or about working at the
Yeah.
bank. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh.
I am curious though, like stay-at-home mom is a very demanding job and it's very different than being in the workforce. Now, I can't imagine what it was like doing the volunteering and the staying at home. But between that career and your banking history, how did that inform the way that you approach executive directing at LCC?
It's interesting because I would say I never went into, I mean, of course, this was my first role in a nonprofit.
Hmm.
Um, and I never went into it thinking like that I'm a leader. That has always been one thing. Like even when I was in leadership at banking, and I was kind of a sales manager for 15 branches at the time. So I was definitely high up in our organization. But it was one of those like it's not I think leadership in general is a really interesting word and a term. And it's like anybody can be a leader in
Hmm.
whatever it is
Hmm.
they do. Um, there's a difference between manager and leader, of course. And so that's where I was kind of like, no, I guess I'm not a manager, but um, I can lead 3 kids and get them up and out the door on time and do all of the crazy things that need to happen. And just, I think all of those different roles really kind of made me a little bit, I guess, flexible in anything and everything that is going to come up, and able to approach this job as a staff of one, because we're, staff of one, it's just me and then a ton of volunteers. Just having that flexibility and that, kind of go with the flow, see what's going to happen next. That's been super helpful, I guess. So
It's tough.
it is.
It's
It
tough.
is definitely. Uh-huh.
When you were volunteering, when you were a stay-at-home mom, you volunteered with Leadership Clark County, which is really cool, I think, to see you go from participating in the program while you were working at the bank to volunteering to now executive directing it. What is something that someone going through the program can expect? Like what does that look like when somebody signs up for it?
Yeah. Oh, goodness. It honestly is it is different for everyone because it's really about your personal experience and what you're going to take in and get out of it. But overall, we take a systems approach to Clark County. And so we have a session a month where we're going to dive into that system on what are the current issues that they're facing. For example, we'll do education, the legal system, social services, government, just to name a few. And so we take a full day and we're going to bring in experts, nonprofits, businesses, the leaders that are doing the work and teach the class all about, okay, what is currently going on in Clark County? And then how can they get involved to make a difference if it's something they're passionate about? And so,
Mm.
of course, we do lots of site visits because we don't like to just sit and get adult learners are like probably a little bit, they need that interaction, they need that activity. So we will, for the justice session or the legal session, we will go and we'll tour Clark County Jail and talk about what they're currently doing and the issues they're facing. For education, we love touring Cascadia Tech Academy and just
Yes.
highlight all of the amazing things that they're doing in the community. So it's really this overarching all of the things in Clark County. What are those issues? What are they doing? And how can our individuals get involved? At the end, we love to kind of just tie it all together. How do they all work together? How does education work with the legal system? And how can those two organizations and individuals working in those organizations connect to make a difference if there is something out in the community that they see that they don't like and they want to change? And so that's kind of what our participants will go through.
That's really cool. It's yeah, because it's not just education, it's also involvement.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
it's marrying those two and showing people how to take action on the things that they're passionate about.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have another piece of that, which is in addition to the monthly sessions, is what we call the community projects. And
Hmm.
so because we do 36 participants a year, and we'll break them up into groups of 6. So we'll have 6 groups of 6 individuals, and we partner them with a community nonprofit that has a challenge or a need. And they'll work with that partner from October to May on how they can accomplish a solution or what that could look like. to provide assistance to that nonprofit. And then at the end of the year, we do a big project presentation. They present to the class, to the board, to the community partner on what that solution looks like. Sometimes they're fantastic, amazing, lifelong, lasting projects that have huge impact, and other times not so much. But the whole goal of the project is really about that team working together also, because we intentionally pair them based on a personality assessment. And so we'll pair them with
Oh.
people that they think very differently from, so that they can learn to work with individuals who think differently. And so it's more about that process as well. Just knowing that, hey, when I get out from LCC, I graduate and I see an issue in the community, I can go and I can find so and so in this work area, and I can just bring a group together and we can go and tackle this problem.
And I like that encouraged diversity of opinions and approaches and then forcing them together. That's very valid. I feel like we should do that in high school too. But I think that's awesome.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Right? Yeah.
So, oh my goodness. So actually, I go on a tangent here real quick because you just said high school. We just piloted last month, like 2 weeks ago, our
Oh,
first ever youth leadership summit, and it was aimed at
no.
high school students. Yes.
How
Yeah.
many
So
participants did you have?
we had 14 participants. We wanted to keep it small for our first pilot year. It was 5 different high schools that participated, and it was a week-long mini version of the adult program, and totally geared towards high school students. And even in that one week, we put them in little project teams, and we had them do a project, very, very condensed mini project on something that they could change at their high school. And then at the end of the week, we had a little graduation ceremony and presentation as well. And their principals were invited to come. And so they got to present to their families and their principals these presentations on things that they wanted to change at their high school.
That's so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I,
It was
I
really successful. It was a fantastic week. That's been a passion project of mine. Of course, just being a stay-at-home mom and volunteering with my kids, volunteering in the schools. My family is all educators. It's just been a huge passion of mine. So always wanted to do a youth version of our program.
I am so happy that went so well. And
Yeah.
like I'm hoping that means that there's going to be more.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We had an amazing sponsor who stepped up and loved what we were doing. And they were there with us all week and have already agreed to help us out next year as well. So,
Oh, that's
so
cool.
shout out to On Point Community Credit Union for
On Point Community Credit Union.
yes.
Hello from Leadership Clark County and Pacific Northwest Fundraising, if you're listening to this.
Yes. But I mean, truly I'm going off on tangents here too. Like that's another, like we are being such a small organization, we could
Mhm.
not do what we do without the support of our amazing sponsors. And we literally have sponsors that every single year, without a doubt, without fail, they will sponsor a session, they'll sponsor our graduation events, our outstanding alumni events, all of that. So we definitely couldn't do without the support from our community.
So yeah, we're gonna touch on that in just a minute here too. But
Sorry.
no. I wanted to ask before I forget,
Yeah.
just real condensed because we'll come back to this. How does somebody who is interested in sponsoring something like this get in touch with you? How do they start that?
Yeah, it will either, phone call, send me an email. Any of my board members, I've got an amazing board as well. If they're connected that way and they want to just have a conversation with them, I am happy to meet for coffee, lunch, happy hour, whatever works for your guys' schedules. And I'm always happy to meet and discuss. And we have so many different opportunities for sponsorships too. Like we have the youth program, and then each of our sessions with the specific subject like education, government. We go to Olympia. So if there's something that an organization is passionate about, they can sponsor that specific session as well. And then our
Cool.
our alumni events too that we have. We started doing it 2 years ago, and it's been super fun and successful, is our annual bowl-a-thon. And the bowl-a-thon actually kicks off our scholarship drive. And
Oh,
so that scholarship drive then supports individuals who may not be able to afford the tuition on their own. And so if you're passionate about that and you want to help give back to individuals wanting to go through the program, we've got sponsorship opportunities there. So yeah, send me an email, give me a phone call, we'll connect.
I got an important question here now.
Hmm.
This bowl-a-thon. Are we talking like bowling balls, or are we talking like ghost Patrick Swayze, like clay work sort of a thing?
Yeah, no, totally bowling balls. And I've got some teams, they're so competitive. It has been so much fun. We have teams, they come with their custom shirts and their own bowling balls and
Oh
bowling shoes, of
man.
course. Yes. Yeah, so
I
it's
bowl a
super fun.
solid
We
one
do that.
strike a game, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I know. Not me. I just go around and make sure everybody's having fun and stuff. I'm like, not bowling, but um, yeah, that is in the beginning of May, we'll do that and kick off our scholarship drive. So,
I let me know next year. I'd be interested in doing
yeah,
that. That'd be fun.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So circling back just a little bit here, we've been talking about projects. We've been talking about community involvement. We've been talking about teen programs, pilot programs. Um, but when you were talking about getting involved with this program while you were working at the bank, you said that your experience completely changed how you looked at community and looked at our community and what you knew was going on and how you could be involved. What was your project? If everybody chooses a project, what was yours?
Yeah, uh, I always say that like I actually had the best project ever. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
it was one that was actually really successful. We didn't actually get to choose the project, so the partner is chosen, and so they're selected, and then we put them with the team. So the team doesn't
hmm.
actually get to go out and pick their own, but my group was partnered with Pearson Air Museum.
Oh,
And at the time, they were really, it was a challenge they wanted to increase aviation education awareness because they felt like over the years, pilots were going to be retiring and they needed more pilots in the workforce and just individuals this in that field. And how do they get young people interested? And so
hmm.
our team started brainstorming, okay, what could we do? We could do summer camps. We could do some summer camps at Pearson for youth and high school students and stuff. And then it just sort of meshed into this, well, wait a second. What about at the time, Clark County Skill Center, which is now Cascadia Tech Academy, that organization, and what if they had an aviation program that for high school students? So we actually we spoke with Dennis Campy at the time because he was the director of the foundation or the director of the Cascadia Tech at the time. And we meshed those two together and we created summer camps at Pearson Air Museum. And we created the beginning of the aviation program for Cascadia Tech Academy, which
No way.
has, yes, which is still successful and going today. So,
That is fantastic. Good for you
yes,
guys.
yeah,
That,
that was a
so that's
great
one of those
project.
projects that you were talking about. Some of them are long lasting and the impact is felt for a long time. And I also I really like the idea that even though some of these projects are bigger than others, all of them support LCC's mission, right? Because your guys' website says Leadership Clark County helps individuals develop their personal leadership skills while learning more about the infrastructure and services which support their community.
Yep, yep,
And
absolutely.
everything you've been saying to me just shows that everything you guys do is absolutely in line with that.
Yep. Well, and many of our participants, they end up going through and they may not even have heard of the organization that we partner them with. It might not be something that they're passionate about, but will it'll change their perspective after serving with that organization and they'll end up volunteering or serving on the board. I served on the Clark County Skill Center Foundation board for I don't even know how many years, several years after I did the project, just because I was so passionate about that organization and what they did. So, and I know that
Really?
there are several individuals that have gone through Leadership Clark County, done their project, and then started serving on those boards.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I've been saying that a lot. I say that a lot talking to people on this show that, oh, that's so cool. But it really is. Like, there's so much going on in
Mm.
Clark County that I don't know how you could be on top of it all. Like,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
truly. But LCC seems to do a pretty good job. If if Leadership Clark County is all about community, leadership, inclusion, and service, it just celebrated its 30th anniversary, right? Like that just happened. Why do you think that this program, Leadership Clark County, has managed to remain such an integral part of Southwest Washington for such a long time?
I would say because we're relevant, we're current. That is the one thing I've heard so many times from some people, like, is like, oh, well, yeah, I went through the program so many years ago and it's the same and it's like it's the same like model, and it's the same um uh mission and vision, but what we do each year is different based on what is currently going on and what is the current need in our community, and who are the current individuals that are doing that work. That's why I've stayed involved for so long. I meet 36 new people every single year who have a passion for giving back to the community, plus all of our session presenters that come in every single year. I'm learning new things from them, and it's just it's new and it's relevant every single year. I mean, you could take somebody that went through so many years ago and go through again, and you're still going to learn something new. It's just it's important to know what is going on in your community and how you can get involved.
I could not agree more.
Mhm.
I could, because community is only community when we're all a part of it. And it's
Yeah.
only a
Yeah.
successful and thriving community when we all work to make it that way.
Hmm. Yeah. And I mean, I may be a little biased, but I think there's something truly special about Clark County and the fact of how how we work together, how different sectors work together to get things accomplished. And I hope Leadership Clark County is a tiny piece of that, or has helped, um, helped impact that in a small way. So
It's a good question. We've heard uh, we've heard you talk about the projects, the education, the growing the leaders, that sort of thing. But how does Leadership Clark County engage with local businesses and organizations? Like, how do you get hooked up with these organizations that you're like, oh, Pearson Air Museum, you know, has this need to foster future pilots? Like,
yeah.
how do you engage with people? How do you learn about these needs?
Yeah. Well, so a lot of it is word of mouth and through our alumni. We
Oh,
will we have over 900 alumni
oh
in
my
Clark
gosh.
County. Yes, yes, it's a lot. And so I mean, I get so many referrals every year from our alumni that are serving on those boards, that are doing that work, and they're aware and they know that, we do projects and we do all this stuff. And so then they're reaching out to me and, hey, Tina, I'm serving on such and such board, and we've been thinking about doing, whatever it is that they want to accomplish. And then I'll be like, great, let's submit a project request. So we also will send out kind of a we don't even call it an RFP process because it's very, very simple. It used to be like 5 pages and it was very long, and it just prevented like organizations from reaching out. And so now it's basically, we ask two questions. What is your challenge and need? And can you commit to 2 to 4 hours a month working with the team from October to May? And if they answer, they submit that answer to me, and this is usually done around August. And then I have a whole team. We will sit down and do one-on-one interviews with everybody who submits something and really try and find out what that root of that issue is, and see if they're going to be a good fit for a project team for the year. So it's a really tough process because there's a lot of organizations that, submit requests, but we
Mhm.
always then I keep them on a list and reach out in a following year or whatever too. So. Mhm.
Oh, neat. Pretend I'm one of those not RFPs that you
Mhm.
guys have. What is, just off the top of your head, what's been one of your biggest challenges at LCC?
Oh, goodness.
And how did you
I
tackle that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I would say, and I think this is very common for a lot of organizations, but definitely since COVID,
Mm,
it's been a challenge getting people re-engaged. Some of our alumni that used to be engaged in all sorts of activities and things like that, and then just getting those alumni events back and running again. So my vision for our alumni events is threefold. We'll have an educational aspect, we have a service aspect, and we have a social aspect. And so what I would love to do is like once a month, every quarter, you have one of those events happening. So every quarter you have a social event, every quarter you have an educational event, and then every quarter you have a service event. And so it just kind of rotates throughout the year. But it's a challenge, number one, getting them all set up and the work to do it, and it's all volunteers
yeah.
usually that are doing it, and then getting the alumni re-engaged. So
Mm,
one of my solutions or hope was that the 30th anniversary event could have been kind of this kickoff to get people reconnected and kind of well, more excited, I guess, in that, hey, Leadership Clark County is still around. They're still doing all this work. They're still like, making a difference in the community. And oh, I want to be a part of that again. Because uh, serious, like I said before, staff of one, everybody else is volunteers. And I have so many amazing volunteers, but there's never a shortage of need as well. So I think
I,
that would be kind of our challenge right now.
I think that's a good way to handle it, right? It
Yeah.
is harder to get people out since COVID. It is harder to get people interested. I'm one of those people, like
Yep.
9 o'clock rolls around. I'm like, well, it sounds great as ice cream and Netflix. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Same here.
Yes. High five. So, okay. Let's change this around a little bit here. What is a favorite story of yours that you've heard about Leadership Clark County from someone else?
I mean, my natural goes to alumni, just because that's but it's about the same thing that I had said earlier about like changed my life, right?
Mhm.
You can hear from so many alumni that had just have said like the program truly changed their life, their perspective on Clark County, um their vision going forward. I know Eddie Allen is one who would always, he has an amazing story. We were able to capture it actually for our 30th anniversary event on a video, which I'm going to be sending out very soon on social media as well. I just haven't had the opportunity yet. But he has an amazing story about taking his personality assessment and then looking at his personality assessment and realizing like part of the Berkman that we used to do that assessment was kind of like a what career you should be in. And he had looked at it and was like, oh wow, I'm supposed to be in like social services and like community, giving. And he just and changed his career and his trajectory from that. And it was kind of the same for me. Like mine was, I mean, although banking was wonderful, it wasn't the career that it said that I should be in for my passion. So, and I hear that a lot from a lot of different alumni.
I told you I was going to say this a lot, but that's just so cool. That is such a testament to the power that this organization has
Mhm.
to really make a difference. That it is actively doing things on a bigger scale, i.e., the community, but also in individuals' lives. Because even if they never work with LCC again, they're looking at things completely differently. And whatever community they end up in, they'll know how to be involved.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is one of the things where sometimes I was like, oh, I wish, our alumni would come back and volunteer for Leadership Clark County or where, but at the same time, I want them to do what they're passionate about because that is going to make the bigger difference. And so I often said, um, I, I, I'm not, we don't have puppies. We're not the food bank making this huge impact on that community, but the impact that we are making is this collective impact of the individuals finding their passion and giving more in that area, whatever that looks like for them.
That's got to be fun too, right? Is that everybody who comes to this program, everybody that you're working with, these are people who are in a mindset of this is exciting, this is new, this is where I want to be, this is what I want to learn.
Yeah.
That's got to feel great, right?
Oh, yeah. And like I said, that's one of the reasons why I stayed involved for so long because it's not just about the sessions every year and learning about Clark County. It's about the people that are participating. I'm learning about them. I'm learning their life experiences. And we have been working so hard to like diversify our program and our participants as well, so that we can make sure that we are successful in learning about everybody's life experiences, and that adds so much value to each class every year.
So how does someone apply to be in Leadership Clark County?
It's on our website, www.leadershipclarkcounty.com. There is it just says right up in the top, apply now, and the application is online. It has all the information. It has the calendar. We always release the schedule for next year in
Mhm.
around February, so people can really look and see, do all of these dates work? Because we want to make sure, I mean, it's a time commitment. But we want people to be there because it makes so much more of a difference with the whole class there. So, yep, they can apply online. We have scholarships available thanks to the Bowl-a-thon success. And so we have two different types of scholarships that we offer, one for financial need and one also for DEI, individuals that are doing work to promote diversity in our community.
So what was that website one more time?
www.leadershipclarkcounty.com. Super simple.
LeadershipClarkCounty.com. Super simple.
Yes,
LeadershipClarkCounty.com. If you're listening to this and you know somebody who would be a good candidate for the program, even if that somebody is you, the listener, go check it
absolutely.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Send me an email. I'm happy to meet for coffee. I love it.
where would they email you, Tina?
At director@leadershipclarkcounty.com.
Look at that. See? Have some lunch, have some coffee, get to know people, get to know Tina. I think that's a pretty good deal.
Mm-hmm.
What speaking of scheduling though, what sort of things does LCC have coming up this year still?
So we will have, we start the program in September. So we'll kick off with our orientation, all of our sessions once a month. We also started last year as part of our alumni educational opportunities, a DEI lunch and learn. And that was for 2 hours. That was actually open to alumni and non-alumni.
Ooh.
And it was a 2 hour event, kind of learning about that one was on the 9 moments of belonging. And so we're trying to do that quarterly as well. So we'll have a lunch and learn with a specific educational opportunity. So that'll be coming as well. We usually have our Outstanding Alumni Award event. That's typically in October, but the board's been tossing around the idea of maybe switching that up. And since our 30th anniversary was so successful, we've been talking about possibly doing an kind of an annual reunion type of an event. So that
Ooh.
really, really having all the alumni welcome to attend. And so we might be looking at that this coming year as well. And we will also be doing the Youth Summit again next year because that was super successful. So already planning and working on that. So yep, lots of things ahead.
At this reunion, will you have yearbooks available for purchase where people can write notes to each other like, have a great
We
summer?
we totally should. We totally should. Yes.
Well, we are coming to the end of our time here, Tina. We do have time for two more questions here. So the first one, you know, is there anything that you want to talk about that we haven't covered so far?
I Gosh, I think we've gone on lots of different tangents and covered all
Yeah.
sorts of things. Yeah. Um, I would say I think that I hear a lot that people say, "Oh, that's not the program for me." They think it's like a public speaking thing, um, or I've had individuals who are retired who think that they're too old for the program, or individuals who are in college and are like Oh no, I'm still focused on it's like this program is beneficial to everyone. If you are retired and you're like, what do you want to do now in this phase of your life? Leadership Clark County is there. It's like that's an amazing opportunity. If you're brand new, starting out in your career, and you want to learn more about the community, amazing opportunity. If you've lived here your entire life and think you know it all, like me, nope, you're going to learn something. You will learn something. So I just think that um, if you have any interest whatsoever, let's sit down for coffee. Let's chat more because it truly is can be beneficial to everyone.
Your coffee addiction is showing through just a little
It
bit,
is.
Tina. I
It
just want
is. I told you. I told you. And I love my local coffee places too. Oh my goodness. It's like it's so hard to choose. Where are we gonna go? La Di Da, Relevant, Compass. They're all so amazing.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, when people are like, "What's a good place to have coffee?" I always have to ask, "Okay, what side of town are you on?"
Yeah.
Because how do you
Yeah.
pick one? We've got great
I
coffee
know.
shops. Okay, Tina, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really do appreciate your time because I know it's an investment, taking time out of your day to come and talk. But I've really enjoyed this, and it's gone super fast.
Yes, it
Uh,
has. Thank you.
oh, my pleasure. But I am curious, what's brought you the most joy in your time at LCC?
It's the people that I've met, the connections that I've made. Um, it's just it like I said before, Clark County is a special place. We have amazing individuals doing such amazing work in our community, and I can go anywhere, any event, and it's almost like a little LCC reunion right there. There's so many alumni, and just yeah, being connected with that many wonderful people that are doing great things, that's what keeps me going.
Excellent. Excellent. Tina, thank you again so much for joining us here today on the Basecamp podcast presented by Pacific Northwest Fundraising. To everybody listening, check out leadershipclarkcounty.com. Whether you're interested in enrolling yourself, recommending somebody you know to go through the program, or if you have a project that you think might be a good fit with LCC, or if you want to sponsor something. It's a lot of different reasons. But check out leadershipclarkcounty.com. It's cool. Everybody listening, thank you for your time for joining us today. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.